Having been on the air since way back in 1989, The Simpsons has developed an army of fans around the world. Millions still tune in to watch the brilliant animated sitcom. And while some people might argue it's lost its charm and isn't as funny as it used to be, the fact is it's still as popular as ever. As with any fan base, Simpsons lovers enjoy coming up with theories about their favorite show and the characters in it.
I'm in danger!
We're gonna take you through 10 Simpsons fan theories that are so crazy they just might be true.
All will be revealed in time, unsuspecting humans.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of Screen Rant's great new videos.
1 minute at this level equals 2 hours, one dream level below.
Why the characters never age. In spite of the fact that The Simpsons is almost 30 years old, none of the characters in the show have ever aged. Bart's still a mischievous 10-year-old, Maggie's still a baby, and Homer's still a fat middle-aged man, and so forth. Have you ever wondered why? Well, you're certainly not the only one. The fans have several theories about why it's the case. When the question was asked on Twitter in 2017, the official Simpsons account simply replied, "That's the magic of The Simpsons." But a number of other Twitter users jumped in with their own explanations as well. One user suggested that each episode take place in a different timeline at the exact same time. Another suggested that at the time, the show had ran for 626 episodes, which is roughly 9.5 days, so that's how much the characters have aged. Another suggested that radiation from Springfield's nuclear power plant keeps everyone young. Yeah, we know. Another suggested the show takes place in the afterlife, as suggested by the opening titles.
Yeah, how you doing?
While another hilariously suggested that every episode was filmed back-to-back in the 1980s. They're all interesting theories, and while the real answer is probably simply because it's just a cartoon, it's certainly fun to ponder.
Paid for by Americans who are really starting to miss Obama.
The show can predict the future. Quite famously, since The Simpsons first aired, several things that have been depicted on the show years earlier went on to happen in real life. Donald Trump's presidency is by far the most famous example. That happened in 2000's Bart to the Future, 16 years before it happened in the real world.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
Other things the show has predicted include faulty voting machines in American elections,
Oh, I hate being sucked into tubes!
the invention of the part tomato, part tobacco tomato plant,
Gimme, I want more.
the outbreak of the Ebola virus, the discovery of the Higgs boson equation, the construction of the Shard in London, robotic librarians, a horse meat scandal,
So you are enjoying the horse?
the Siegfried and Roy tiger attack, a letter to the Beatles being responded to decades after it was sent, the censorship of Michelangelo's David, and, of course, three-eyed fish. It's fair to say that The Simpsons has covered thousands of topics,
I challenge Kim Jong-un.
and life is bound to imitate art on some occasions. But some of those are just so specific. Some fans have theorized that Matt Groening himself is actually a time traveler who has been to the future, hence his ability to predict it so accurately.
Why, I go in and out of comas all the... French toast, please.
Homer is in a coma. In 1993's So It's Come to This, a Simpsons clip show, Homer was crushed by a vending machine and fell into a coma. As usual, everything turned out fine and Homer was healthy again by the time the episode came to a climax. But one fan theory suggests he never actually came out of the coma at all. There was a notable shift in the show's tone after that episode. Plots had previously focused on mundane events like Lisa having a crush on her teacher,
I'm gonna miss you.
but after that point, the plot started to get more and more surreal and outlandish. Moreover, and this really is the clincher, the earlier episode, Homer the Heretic, ended with the following exchange between Homer and God.
What's the meaning of life?
Homer, I can't tell you that. You'll find out when you die.
I can't wait that long.
You can't wait 6 months?
The important thing here is that So It's Come to This, a Simpsons clip show, aired precisely 6 months after Homer the Heretic. So it sounds as though God's assertion was actually correct. Simpsons producer Al Jean has dismissed the theory, but quite frankly, it's pretty hard to ignore.
You know, if you had the money, I'm right here. Do you have the money? Money, 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 money.
Homer is incredibly rich. Have you ever wondered how the Simpsons are able to afford a large home, 2 nice cars, and countless adventures around the world on Homer's supposedly poor salary? They're a working-class family, but they've owned and done everything any real-world family dreams of owning and doing. A fan theory suggests there are actually a couple of good reasons for that, both of which make Homer a very rich man. One theory is that Homer still receives royalties from his time in the B Sharps.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
His barbershop quartet from the episode Homer's Barbershop Quartet. It's backed up by the fact that the group's other members, Barney, Apu, and Principal Skinner, also have unexplained wealth. Barney's bar tab is ridiculously high. Apu drives an expensive sports car, and Principal Skinner's house is in an extremely affluent area. There's also a theory that Homer still owns the Denver Broncos, which were given to him by Hank Scorpio in You Only Move Twice.
Aw, the Denver Broncos!
The Broncos are worth around $2.4 billion, and this source of income gives Homer the means to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Is there no place for the man with the 105 IQ?
All the Simpsons are geniuses. While Lisa Simpson is obviously an incredibly intelligent girl and has a very bright future,
Thank you very much.
the other members of the Simpsons family are less than stellar in terms of their academic achievements and look destined to live their lives in mundane fashion. However, there's one fan theory that suggests that every Simpsons family member is actually a genius, but only Lisa chooses to embrace it. Marge was actually shown to be an excellent student when she was younger, but she ultimately chose Homer and a family over a career.
Who wants lottery tickets?
And if you remember, in the episode Homer, H-O-M-R, Homer became a genius after he had a crayon removed from his brain, but he actively chose to have the crayon reinserted to avoid being ostracized by his friends.
Change me back to the blissful boob I was.
And because life was generally easier as a dumbass. In fact, Bart's a genius too. For example, the little scamp has shown a natural aptitude for both languages and complex schemes, but he chose a life of debauchery because, like his dad, he finds it easier and more satisfying. Even Maggie is far more intelligent than a baby should be, in spite of her inability to say a single word.
Welcome to the real world, baby.
In a nutshell, Lisa chooses to embrace her intelligence while all the other Simpsons choose happiness. It's quite beautiful in a way.
I'm Maude. God, he's super.
Maude Flanders was a sociopath who hated her husband. Maude Flanders was, of course, the wife of Ned Flanders and the mother of Rod and Todd.
What if we were raptured right now?
Sadly, Maude was killed after being knocked off a grandstand by several t-shirt cannons at the Springfield Speedway. According to a fan theory, she was actually a crazy sociopath. The theory points to several scenes that suggest Maude hated her husband and wanted to kill him before her death in The Simpsons' 11th season. On several occasions in the show, whether it was during a bear attack or prior to an imminent comet strike, for example.
You stay here because...
Okay.
Maude seemed happy to either leave Ned for dead or didn't show any concern whatsoever for his well-being.
Do I get a vote? That's just air escaping his lungs.
There are multiple MOLEMEN. Over the years, pretty much for as long as The Simpsons has been airing, in fact, the diminutive, fragile, and bespectacled character Hans Moleman has suffered repeated fatal injuries as one of the show's many running jokes. This theory suggests that every time we've seen a Moleman die in this show, it was actually a completely different person, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. The elaborated theory further suggests that the Molemen are actually a race of human-mole hybrids that reside underneath the streets of Springfield, plotting global domination from their subterranean lair. Their gradual attempts to take over the world see them taking up jobs in Springfield one by one. Fortunately for the world, however, Homer's shenanigans are killing them off as fast as they can come to the surface, making their attempts completely futile. The theory is undeniably supported by the fact that in the episode Hello Gutter, Hello Fodder, Homer actually encountered a race of underground molemen who were in possession of earthquake machines.
Coming up on your right, nothing.
Springfield exists outside time and space. One of the most persistent and pressing questions fans still have about The Simpsons to this day is the one regarding the location of Springfield within the United States of America. Springfield is a very common town name in the US, so it's extremely hard to pin it down, especially given that the show makes a point of being extremely ambiguous about the whole thing. A fan theory, however, suggests that Springfield isn't actually in any state, and that it actually exists outside of time and space. It's known as the Tesseract theory, and it states that Springfield exists within the Tesseract and is constantly changing its location. The idea suggests that the concept allows it to be much bigger than the space it takes up, with West Springfield alone being 3 times the size of Texas, and allows it to shift locations as needed. Fans have observed Springfield shifting its location anywhere across the lower 48 states, which also explains why landmarks like Murderhorn, Springfield's largest mountain, can exist in one episode and be mysteriously absent in the next. This theory also adds another potential element to the aforementioned theory about why the characters in The Simpsons never age.
You can see the 4 states that border Springfield: Ohio, Nevada, Maine, and Kentucky.
They live in Springfield, Maine. Contrary to the previous theory about Springfield not being in any state, one fan theory suggests that the location of The Simpsons' hometown is very clear. It's in Maine. First of all, the states with Springfields in them had to be identified, and it turns out there are 33 of them, which ruled out 17 others. And then it gets a lot more complicated. Whenever The Simpsons are seen traveling to a particular state, that enables theorists to rule out those states as their home state. Then, there was a scene in which Homer incorrectly pointed out Springfield's location on a US map, which ruled out the likes of Nebraska, Illinois, and Wisconsin, all of which Lisa told him were wrong. There was also a scene in which Lisa said George Bush Sr. already had residences in their home state, which narrowed it down to a few, including Connecticut, Ohio, Texas, and Maine. The likes of Massachusetts can also be ruled out, as Homer has expressed hatred for it. All things considered, the discussion narrowed it down to Maine, and if you want to find out about the theory in full, we recommend heading over to the original post on funnyjunk.com.
Oh, I hate you guys!
And that's the end of our video. What do you think of these Simpsons fan theories? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Screen Rant for more great videos like this one. Bye for now, and eat my shorts! Thanks for watching.